All right, now we're going to move on with some other news stories that have been causing a buzz online here in France and all around the world with James Creedon. It is time for Media Watch. Hi there, James.
Hi, Catherine.
And we are going to be talking about some very French matters. So it's particularly for you if you studied French at school.
Get out your Becherel.
Indeed, get out your dictionaries.
Old grammar book.
There's been some changes to the French language.
Yes.
Some people have been going through the dictionary with Tipex and saying, we don't need this bit, don't need that bit. And all school children are going to have to follow these new rules.
That's right. They're going to be in the new school books from the beginning of the next school year. And these changes were actually voted by the authority for the French language, the Académie Française, something like 15 years ago. I can't remember the exact date, but it was a long time ago. And it's only now they're actually being brought into place. In any case, it led to a furore on the interweb.
So these are the things we're getting rid of, those little hats on top of the vowels.
Exactly. That is one of the chief elements of this reform. The little hats are to be axed. Now, the understanding was, we'll get to the actual facts later, but people got terribly excited because they thought the little hat was going to just be eradicated full stop. Not full stop, sorry.
So
eradicated. End. In any case, the French are upset. Some words are losing their hats, says the Canadian state broadcaster. And then it really did get a little bit silly. So I'm just going to show you how silly it got. We got all sorts of accent smileys and what's the opposite of a smiley? A
sad
frowny,
face.
a sad face. Sad news. And then, of course, there was the rather unnecessary hashtag Je suis circonflexe. I am a circumflex. And then people just sort of adding accents where accents ne'er existed before, just as a display of absolute rebellion. And that was the je suis circumflex element that I mentioned earlier. Now, I saw a lot of school teachers, in particular French language teachers, tweeting saying, well, actually, you know what? The only time I see the little hats now are at the end of text messages or at the end of people are using it as a smiley.
As an emotional thing,
They're not putting it where it should be put in anyway. And so you can see here this tweet saying, in memory of the grace and all of the certainty that the circumflex provided. Here you have the city of Nîmes that got terribly upset, and even on the Ville de Nîmes, the official Facebook page of the city, said, don't even think about it, we're going to spell Nîmes with the hat.
Well, indeed, what about the River Rhone? There's lots of other things.
This is it. It led to all sorts of worry. And then
revolution is brewing.
And then there were people who were just saying, absolutely not. No matter what happens, I'm not going to do this. I shall ignore the French Réforme orthographique, just as I ignored the 1996 German Rechtschreibreform.
Very good.
Thank you. I know you speak German. I definitely don't. The vote to remove the accent circonflexe from over 2,400 French words is a horrific erasure of linguistic history, because actually, if we're to get into the nitty-gritty, the accent circonflexe replaced an S, and it was sort of words that came from Latin. The S was taken out and the accent circonflexe put in. So the history of the origins of the words is being lost with this simplification. But you know what? We don't speak Latin anymore, so I suppose it's probably better to move with the times, one might argue.
Well, some people there have pointed out that there could be quite a lot of confusion caused by doing away with all of this. And I mean, personally, I would say just because people don't use it correctly doesn't mean you should get rid of it altogether.
Right, I think so. And I think it's kind of being left as an option for some people. But rude people have taken the opportunity to put in all sorts of rude sentences all over the interweb. And I'll show you some of the lesser rude ones. Here, this one here. In any case, the accent circonflexe didn't have any use. Are you sure? But you see, if there was an accent over sure, it would be
sure.
Sure, and without it, it means are you on? And so, are you on or are you sure was all over the place. Are you sure? And of course, the response then was, am I on a chair? So there was confusion, you see. Confusion obviously emerges from this. And are you sure, Raymond? I like it. Are you on, Raymond? I like it. Now, the on thing got terribly rude, and there were people talking about all sorts of unimaginable situations on the internet, and I'm not going to repeat them because they're just absolutely terrible. And here we have homme mûr, which is a mature man, or homme mûr, which is a wall man, which makes as little sense in French as it does in English. And here you have George Clooney next to wall man. So there you go.
Very
I think
confusing
We need
indeed.
the circumflex in some situations.
Well, we do, and you said they're not all being eradicated. Isn't that more confusing?
It is probably more confusing. Now, in any case, it is 2,400 French words that are being changed overall. The reform isn't completely getting rid of the accent circumflex. It is going to become optional over the I and the U because it's only over vowels, of course. But it will be done away with where it is unnecessary. But where it is necessary to distinguish with other words, it will be maintained. Do we have time for some more?
Excellent. Yes, I hope everyone's got that. I hope you've made notes.
Right.
We do have time for a little bit more.
Okay, well, do you know what? We're going to move away from I am a Chinese hat and I am circumflex, which are all the hashtags, to trumpdonald.org. This is the wild card element at the end of the
I can
segment.
almost do that in my hand on that
Okay,
wide
now,
shot there.
the whole point of this website is... I don't know if we have sound, but let me just tell you that it's the sound of a trumpet. And
I
you can
can do
angle
it.
that trumpet anywhere you like.
This is
And
very disrespectful, James.
So is getting rid of the circumflex. Anyway, it's a theme this evening.
Thank you very much for bringing us that lighter side of the American presidential race.
Absolutely.
And the circumflex, which is slightly confusing, but thank you. What would the world be without confusion?
Indeed. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.
Cheers.